that the invocation of religion or a religious impulse to some of this informs your controlling metaphor of the book project on Substack, The Elect. Can you, for those of us who are not versed in Protestant theology or Calvinism, I guess, could you talk a little bit about what the elect means and why you are
Sure.
choosing that term to talk about people who are kind of super woke, super politically correct,
hmm
and reticent to acknowledge any kind of progress?
Yeah, the elect, and I get that term from Joseph Bottom. It's not mine. The elect is my term for not just woke people. I might surprise some people lately, but I consider myself pretty woke. It's woke people who are mean. It's the nasty woke people. It's the nastiness that we've seen, especially since last summer during our so-called racial reckoning. And what I mean by the elect is they're people who seem to think of their purpose as being to demonstrate that they're not racist and to police the rest of us for racism and to defenestrate and shun people who they deem to be not anti-racist enough. And so their idea is that they're doing something that's maximally good for humankind. The idea is that to battle power differentials, and especially ones about race, is the paramount goal of the concerned human being. Everything is supposed to be centered on that. And this is important. All people won't understand it, but this is so important that it's okay to hurt people, and it's okay to do things that you wouldn't urge your own children to do in the name of this larger good. And so, although the people don't think about it, all of this is very, very cultural revolution, very Stalin. It's frankly, metaphorically, it's Hitler in many ways. But as with all of those people, the elect today, the woke people who are okay with being mean in the name of wokeness, they think of themselves as having come to the ultimate answer. And the parallels with religion, especially evangelical religion, are almost uncanny, especially given that most of these people kind of look askance at Christianity in its more extreme forms. But white privilege is original sin. The idea is that if you're white, you're privileged, and that will never change. Even if you're poor, no matter what you do, that's original sin. The idea that we're waiting for America to come to terms with racism, that has no meaning. What are the terms? What would that be? You say it and you nod in the same way as if somebody goes like this and does that circular, you nod because somehow that means yes. Well, come to terms with race. That doesn't mean anything. What it is it's the rapture. It's that business of the end of days and judgment day. The reason that if a person says something that isn't sufficiently anti-racist, they have to be chased out of the room or their job is because it's about heresy. The idea is we can't even stand to have Andrew Sullivan in our midst in a Zoom call. Andrew Sullivan has to resign. And remember, the idea was that they didn't want him around when nobody was around each other because it was in the middle of the pandemic. That's because they thought of him at New York Magazine as a heretic. They wouldn't use those words. The parallels just go on and on. And so you have a clergy, you have writers who are looked to say things over and over again, many of which are very hard to square with reality. But frankly, people like Ta-Nehisi Coates and now Robin DiAngelo and Ibram X. Kendi, they are priests of this religion. They don't think of themselves that way. They're certainly not saying it, but the way their writings are received is not as informational tracts, but as scriptural counsel. So it's a rather alarming movement because you can't reason with people who are working from religion rather than logic. And that's not to say that religion is idiocy in itself,
Right.
but a part of religion is that you sequester a part of your brain away from logic that goes from A to B to C. You have to suspend your disbelief. And the new wokeness that's mean, electism, as I'm calling it, is religious in that way. And the people in question can't be reached. And that's scary given how much power they're beginning to amass.